Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Dark Knight's Metal Batman the Dawnbreaker from InArt. And I think we have only this one and the Devastator Batman, and then is that it for the Dark Knight's Metal things? I think so. I could be wrong, but either way, we're rounding up the team, the squad. It's almost done, and this figure is a nice addition. It is a review sample. It's not out yet, so obviously it's a review sample. I'm going to review it like normal. They seem to be okay with that, and if they end up not being okay with that, that's going to be unfortunate, but I have to review the way I review. It's a legal obligation for me to disclose that they are providing this, like, obviously, but still. So anyway, it's a good figure. There are a couple of things about it, though, that do grind my gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about all of it, though, so let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. It is a good package. There's a heavily photoshopped render or photo, I can't tell, on the front, but it looks really nice. No windows. If you need windows, you don't get windows, but at least the rest of the package, at least the front of it, looks really good. So if you wanted to display this, you could. I wouldn't do that. I would always take the figure out, especially if there's no window, but at least it's a nice image there. Alright, so this guy, depending on what kind of inventory there is on their website, I'll either be sharing links to this guy for their website or Big Bad Toy Store or whatever I can do, I don't know. These things tend to sell out on their website fairly quickly because they do like an early bird discount sort of situation. So those tend to go pretty fast. And I can't release everything on the same day because this one and Devastator, I believe, are embargoed for the same day. We'll see. Anyway, okay, let's talk about this guy. Question of the day. Are you guys a fan of the variant looks for these Dark Knight's Metal figures? Like, these are not comic accurate. They aren't intending to be. They are intended to be a new design, kind of like the Play Arts Kai look sort of situation. Personally, I love this kind of stuff. I like it a whole bunch. And so I'm happy with it. I think it was a good call for them because, like, LPZZ, for instance, is doing the comic accurate looks. You don't need two figures of the same thing, so at least these guys are setting themselves apart, even though they are gambling a little bit with people maybe not wanting a non-comic accurate look. So I'm curious, let me know what you guys think about this situation. I love it. And I'm not tied to these comics personally, so I don't care at all whether they're comic accurate or not. As long as the design is good, that's fine, but I'm sure some of you are going to want comic accuracy. So let me know in the comment section below about that. Alright, so let's get into the aesthetic on this guy after we do a height measurement, because we are still in the larger scale. It will change. I'm told it will change. Once these figures that go together are done, it will change. Again, that's what I'm told. It's not an official thing. But we will see, I guess, how that pans out. 18.5 centimeters, not counting his bat ears, and that's going to make him, let's call it 7¼ inches. Like I said, the scale is still big. So it would be bad if they changed the scale mid-batch of figures. Like if the Flash and Laughing Batman were huge and then everybody else was little. That would be no good, so might as well commit for now. There you go. You can see he's much bigger than a 1/12 scale figure. So I'm curious to see when they make that transition to the other size. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetics on this guy. The thing I love the most, well, there's a few things actually, but I don't know which one to start with. I'm going to start with this. The transparent pieces, or translucent pieces, they are really, really well done. So let me pull it back again. The thigh pieces are translucent. The chest is translucent, and the inside here is translucent, and then also the tubers. But the thing that's the coolest thing about the translucent pieces is, hopefully you can see it on camera. I think you'll be able to. They're separate pieces. They're overlays on top of the gray that's underneath, or the silver that's underneath, and it's smooth on the outside, but on the inside there is a hexagon pattern to give it texture, and it is just the coolest looking thing in person. It looks so nice. I think you're going to be able to see it. Then for the other parts, it's just metallic green, which looks really good. And then we have the painted tubers on his body, and we have the actual flexible translucent tubers all around the rest of him. It's a very cool look. And then I think they did a wonderful job with this gray, with the black wash or gray dry brush on top, or whatever the case may be. It's just a really, really nice look. And there's tons of little details throughout, those little silver bits. It's incredibly well painted. There is more paint application on like 1 square inch of this guy than on like a whole line of Marvel Legends. And it is beautiful. Love the paint job. The metallic green in particular looks splendid. And they didn't lazy it up. They didn't not paint what goes underneath these movable shoulder pieces. that is also fully painted underneath. Though, and we'll get to this in the articulation section, I don't think you'll ever see this. Like, I don't know why these pieces move. We'll talk about that in the articulation, but I can't figure out why they bothered to make these articulate. That's strange. Let's look at the face. Beautiful paint job. Nobody is doing a better paint job than InArt that I have come across. It is wonderful, especially with their portraits. They are so good looking. Really, really well done. I will say, as far as the aesthetics go, the one thing that bugs me a little bit, and there's not much you can do because it is still just a painted action figure, the painted green tubers, because they're not actual tubers like the rest, they do stand out as being a little wobbly here and there. But I mean, like, that's gonna happen, and they're still freaking good. But if you're doing a review and looking at it super up close, you'll be like, yeah, it's maybe not a perfect paint job. But if it's just sitting on your shelf, you're not gonna notice. So yeah, it looks great. The one thing I would criticize would be, like, an actual criticism of the variant design, is that they added these little canisters that the tubers connect into right by the chin, and they get in the way of his head moving around. So I would have moved him over on the chest or something. Since it's an original design anyway, you can do that. You don't need to clutter up his face. But, you know, that's an artistic interpretation, so you can like it or not like it or whatever. It's all very subjective, other than it is in the way of his face. So anyway, aesthetically, beautiful. It's right up there with The Flash and Laughing Batman and anything else they've put out. I'm going to go 9.8 out of 10. Like, a little wobble in the green paint down here is not enough to do more than 0.2. Like, it's a really incredibly good looking figure. Even inside the neck, they did extra green tubers and all that detail. It is beautiful. I love seeing a company put care and love into their action figures. It's just nice to see. It's so nice to see. And they're not the only one doing it, but this is one of them, and they are doing it, so that is nice. All right, let's talk about the accessories. Not, in some ways, the most impressive assortment. We have a total of 6 hands. The 2 fist hands that come on them in the package, clenchy hands, and then karate chop hands. That's it for hands. No alternate head, so that's it for his body. As far as other accessories go, you get the display stand base and upright, which is nice. It's a beautiful translucent green with a little bit of neon green paint job throughout. It looks really good. You have the arm that snaps into it so that you can hold the figure if you want. I don't love that at the base. This is a little thing, but it's like the kind of thing that just is, it doesn't need to happen. There's like a little tuber that pops out right behind the arm and gets in the way of the arm being able to move the way you might want it to move. So it's not a big deal, but it's like, you put that there on purpose. It shouldn't be there. You should make a little more clearance for the arm so that it can move as you need it to. But then we have 2 more accessories. The big bat face, you have an arm or a base that can hold an arm at different heights for the little bat face or big bat face, which is really well sculpted and done. That's nice. Or you can swap that out to another arm of varying heights for the little bat that can fly. So accessory wise, the base is awesome. It's less maybe than people would want in terms of accessories. If you don't care about bases, you're kind of missing out. I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. The base is beautiful and it's a giant hunk of plastic, so they put the effort into it. It's just a matter of if you want a base versus like tangible construct type accessories. So, you know, it's a personal choice. I personally do like the bat effect. The big face, I'll just have him shooting that out of his ring if I want him to shoot something out of his ring, and I'll be good. But, you know, you could have some more constructs. Or maybe not. Maybe this guy doesn't do that as much. You guys would have to tell me. I do not read Dark Knight's Metal comics. Okay, let's get into the articulation because he looks great, but can he do stuff? And that's an important factor. So, he does have his tubers on here. All these tubers are soft. I haven't had any pull off or anything like that, so we'll see if it makes it through the review. I suspect it will if you don't manhandle your figure, or if I don't, and then same thing for you if you don't. Looking up is good. He does look up nicely. He does look down nicely. He can bury his face into that chest piece, which I was telling you I don't like about being so close to his face. But he does look down. His neck moves forward and back. It does go side to side, just not as much. But yeah, he can definitely hit the poses you're going to need him to hit. So ball pegs for the win. Always, 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 always. And it's good. So, as I was mentioning about the shoulder pads, they move like they need to get out of the way. But as you can see, they're basically just above the body. Like, they're not really sticking out in any way that matters. So, I'll show you, there's a ball peg, a double ball peg on the back here. It's hard to get them to line up properly in the back, or at least I haven't had much luck doing it, where they line up in the back and in the front at the same time, and maybe it's just a little bit of warpage. That's my guess. So maybe a little hairdryer action will solve that. See how this is lifting up a little? Probably just some hair dryer will fix that. Anyway, these move around quite a bit to get out of the way of shoulders that don't need them to get out of the way. So I'm not sure why they did that. I think it would have been easier for them to just have it all be one piece. But I don't know. Because here's the deal. The shoulders do have the floating cap and the ball peg in here to let them move around. But they're not making any, like, great sweeping motions or anything. Like, if you raise the arm up, even with the tuber tucking inside there, that's as far as the arm goes. Like, this doesn't need to move. It can still just sit right where it's sitting. Which, I mean, that's fine. I just don't understand why these move. And then going forward, let's say you want to bring the arm all the way forward. It goes all the way forward without the chest having to move. It's just weird that this is a floaty piece. But the arms do get decent range. There's no, like, crazy good butterfly or anything. Like, they don't pop out or all the crazy stuff that you could do. The only time these need to move is if you put the arm backward, which, like, no one's doing that, so it's just strange. It doesn't hurt the figure any, I guess, other than this part where they're, like, not perfectly lined up. That could have been adjusted if they were fixed to the figure. But, yeah, whatever. Alright, bicep swivel is fine. You do have your tubers, so, like, don't go crazy with this. Don't just keep twisting it until it pops off. But any normal posability or posing will not have a problem with the tuber. So you get your bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, great range, good looking elbow, no issues at all with that. Yeah, no problems. And then the wrists are on ball hinges, that's fine with a little floaty piece, no problems there. For the torso, remember we have tubers, so don't just start yanking on things, guys. For the torso, you can lean him back pretty dang far, and it looks pretty dang good. I think every release they put out, they're improving on things that maybe weren't as good as they could have been in the past. But let's see about going forward. You have to give him a little force. He doesn't go that far forward. I'm not sure why. Maybe because no, this isn't really in the way. I don't know. It seems like he should be able to go farther forward, but he is definitely bouncing off the insides. It's enough. He's not doing any crazy crouches, though. All right, leaning to the side. That's good, leaning to the side. Yeah, so he's lacking a little bit going forward. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Now for the hips, these guys are separate pieces that are just slid on. They're just held on with friction over his main thigh piece. So these can shift as you want to use the hips if you need them to. But let's see, there's no drop down or anything. So going forward, incredibly limited with the thigh piece in place. If we push it down some, you definitely get more range. It's a reasonable way to do that, I guess. Because it does work, like you can still pose him. It gets weird here, but that's not my favorite thing. It's okay. If you need him to get into a tighter or a higher kick or whatever, you can do that. Goes all the way back. Out to the side, doesn't have the best range until you slide these pieces, not that far down, until you slide them down. So you're going to have limitations in the hips. Now, being this character, maybe that's not the biggest deal in the world because he's going to stand there for the most part or float there and just look cool. What is it? What do they say? He's aura farming. This guy's an aura farmer. I don't think they refer to it that way. So yeah, the hips could be definitely better. You get your thigh swivel in there. These get in the way. Double jointed knee is nice though. That's a good knee. No problems with the knee. Good range, good bend. That's good. Ankles. You get your rotation at the top of the boot. I don't know for sure if it's a ball. I think it's a ball that lets the whole boot move. Because it does have a little bit of range going in every direction and it rotates. But then it seems like there's another ball here for the main ankle, which lets the foot go back and forward quite nicely. It's a perfectly hidden joint and it's not too loose. I am concerned that it's a ball, so it may end up getting loose. All joints can, but ball peg ankles tend to be a problem. But this one so far is fine, so you get decent enough range out of that. You get a toe hinge, which is not the best. You get a big gap down here. And you get a little, that top piece of the joint is visible there. You don't need all that, but it does work. It's loose though, like not floppy loose, but it's not holding the figure up considerably well. It's okay. So his articulation, I think, is maybe not the most impressive. It is not gonna hinder this guy's usability in terms of what he needs to be able to do. But if you're one of those people like me where you want the figure to be able to do just about everything, oh, by the way, these rotate, the gauntlets rotate. If you want your figure to be able to do as much as possible, even if it doesn't suit the character, yeah, he doesn't have that ability. He's not hitting Spider-Man poses. He will be fine for what he needs to do. So I'll give his articulation a 7. He's beautiful, so he gets a little bit of credit for the articulation not having as much range. So, time for the final verdict on this guy. If you are good with the variant design, I have to recommend this for sure. It is one of the prettiest looking action figures I've looked at in a very long time, with the silver underneath the translucent green, with the metallic greens, with just the tubers and everything. He looks really, really, really good. Like, I am thrilled with this, and I don't even like this character design in particular, but that's the same thing they did with the Red Death and Laughing Joker. I personally like their designs more than the more toned down comic designs, but that's completely personal preference. What I can say is what they've delivered here is really, really good. This area is a little bit annoying, and this gets in the way, but otherwise it's pretty much exactly what you would want it to be if you're into the variant thing. So I'll give him an overall rating of, I'm going to say 9 out of 10. I can't go any higher than that because his articulation does suffer a little bit here and there are some quirks, I guess you could say, that make it irritating, but that might be fixable with a hairdryer. Like, they do fit on there. You see how that closes up nicely if I hold it in place, but then they kind of pull away a little bit. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, it's a really, really, really good figure. They just keep showing how good they are and how much they want to make awesome stuff, and they keep doing it. So I'm thrilled with it, and I think you guys will be too. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.